Thank you so much for tuning in this evening, this morning, this afternoon. But in behalf of the Den and Now, I bring you warmest of greetings from the platform and all the participants and the officials and management of this growing platform. Today, Fambulem, na the 3rd of January, very brand and fresh new year, only 3 days old. Imagine you baby na your aunt, only 3 days old. Imagine everything else so new shoes, new clothes, how much you value them things then they before finally then they get older. So anyway, I want to say thank you for all those who have tuned in and they ask that we keep the chat room busy. And also they ask that we share this wonderful video. Fambulem, I can always say the conversation for the heart and soul of a nation has begun a long time ago. It's still ongoing, but the train is about to leave the platform. And those that are interested in taking the country forward with them need to catch that train so that we can take the message of positivity, go ahead and continue for along the way so that we can get many converts, so that we nation go really change. So Fambulem, like I say, welcome to another edition of the Den and Now program. Where they talk to us today, January 3, 2021. I'm in Prince Emil Coma on the Den and Now platform. Before I go into what I want to talk today, and many things I want to talk about, and many things of national importance, okay? And we go get to shortly, and not a long broadcast. I hope not a long broadcast because something I can promise, and then we can go longer, although it can be interesting because you can still get people and we kind of hook up to you, they listen, which is good. I want to say thank you to all those who have reposed their faith in this platform or on this platform. I really want to say thank you to everybody because we continue for grow exponentially. We are growing. Unayeri Supermed yesterday in a brilliant interview we conduct. Yeah. I mean, the brother was exceptionally good. And in last video before this one has gone viral, staggered because I monitor them. 20,000 plus and still counting. Still people in the watch that video day as I speak to Una now. So generally the platform, they do very well. And it's all because of you, because without you, there would be no audience and all this talk here would be unnecessary. So I just want to use this opportunity for say thank you. We page now YouTube continue for grow. When I last check, I think we are 90,000 viewers, 90,000 viewers. And of course, Supermed announced yesterday that we don't cross that 1,000 subscriber threshold. We don't make we eligible for monetize we program. Some of these things, you can be kept in the background, but with the Den and Now, the impartiality now in at the center of what we do and the talk. I make we discuss with you now. There's nothing here to hide. And I make okay ask again. Let we engage in the chat room. We can disagree for agree. After all, the common denominator here is we are Sierra Leoneans. Okay? So Una, thank you very much. Over 1,000 subscribers and counting. Please go to the page and subscribe. Over 12,000. The criteria for YouTube is 4,000 hours of viewer time. We've done 3 times that number, 4 times 3, 12,000. So this is where we are. On Facebook, where we are broadcasting from now on our main platform, we are over 100,000 viewers. So imagine small lily platform, but we are growing. So thank you very much and happy new year to everybody. Okay, Fambulem, like a link smaller una see the woman na the background. A very important woman now we society, now we country. And this woman is none other than the Auditor General of Sierra Leone, Madam Lara Taylor Pierce. Wonderful woman. When I can see the beautiful smile, very infectious. Even when I look at my picture, I can just imagine. But she's a very professional woman, very upright. Although people and they try for do something else to her now in terms of smear, which not right. And part of the broadcast today, Naime could dedicate them to Ram. And I'll repeat this. This broadcast tonight is dedicated to the Auditor General of Audit Sierra Leone, Madam Lara Taylor-Pierce. You see, if she was a professional yesterday, and not compromise that professionality at all, because yesterday you were praising her or the praise her. Today, now the same woman will be the sing praise for waiting he do today, suddenly now look like enemy. That cannot be right, and this cannot go on. This now prompts me for let we organize this program here today, part of this program, because other things in there for talking, we'll go to and quickly, like I say, not to longer broadcast. I want to look at this particular first segment of this broadcast today, Famula, if you will permit me, from a four-dimensional perspective. Four-dimensional perspective. The reason why we break down to this four-dimensional perspective, because it seems like from circumstantial and little bit of physical evidence, there is a deliberate attempt for smear one of Sierra Leone's finest. I repeat, did you hear the emphasis? I can always ask the question when I try to drive something home. Did you hear that? One of Sierra Leone's finest Auditor General ever. So I want to look at from the power of the audit services of Sierra Leone, the power the way this particular department or institution get. This is what I mean, because then we need for understanding from that perspective. I also want for let we look at from a relationship between Parliament and Audit Sierra Leone. Remember, say some people don't know this. I will talk about it shortly. So they look at from the powers of Audit Sierra Leone. I also want for let we look at from the relationship between Audit Sierra Leone and Parliament. And then we go take one of the reports, them inside the report, which is the 2019 COVID report or COVID report. And then we dare, and this is what we do here as well, we therefore suggest to the government of the Republic of Sierra Leone, headed by retired brigadier, His Excellency Julius Maada Bio, the head of state of the Republic of Sierra Leone. Those of you who see the flyer, we've been saying we get a direct message for the president, we speak to the president. The president might not be listening, and it's not impossible to say he listen because the president does watch social media. You get people the way they watch social media. He can choose, of course, the choice is his, what he want to listen to. But what we want to do as a responsible media and patriotic citizen, we want to speak directly to the president on this basis for recommend based on the Auditor General in report. Family, once again, I welcome few people and I ask una please let us share this video. We are 35 in number, okay? And this is a small number. Let's get it right. This is the then and now. Let we multiply this number in seconds. So in other words, 35 people who shape this thing, we know the multiplier effect. We know what happens and so forth and so on, okay? We also know, say, thousands and thousands of other people are going to watch this program. So thank you very much and welcome. Sister Asana Tubunde, I really appreciate you. I must make this public, my sister. Yeah, you are very special to the then and now because you've been there from the beginning and up to this day, you are here. Sister Janet Martha Musa, you are just wonderful. And I know say you're going to keep this chat room buzzing. I trust you on that one. Brother Simon K. Koroma, thank you for your kind sentiments, sir. It's my first time I see you, but probably you don't watch me. Good program. So much thanks. And Brother Mohammed Kamara, alias or aka Supermed, the co-presenter on this platform. She is a real professional and we should be grateful for the work she's doing for our country. Absolutely in agreement with you. So this is not just the beginning and let me go into the thing. And to don't understand the way I say I want to address this issue, the powers where the audit services Sierra Leone get, the relationship between Audit Sierra Leone and the Parliament of the Republic. One of the reports that inside the report, 2019 COVID report, and what the government would therefore suggest, say, Papa government, would they ask you there, now this now we want for you do, okay? So simple. Let's get down to it. I don't know who that can say, so one of my favorite reporter. Let's get down to it. I think that Chris Como. So anyway, Fambulem, bearing in mind the prime function of a public sector audit is to provide independent assurance. Listen to the stress. For provide independent assurance, information, and advice to those that are charged with governance. Let me break this down because today, now with people and how they talk to directly, even though the government they listen. So I repeat, in terms of this audit or auditing generally of a country, the prime function of a public sector audit report or auditing generally is for provide independent assurance, information, and advice to those who are charged with governance. What does this mean quickly before I move on to the next step? The audit report or the auditor generally in office it is an independent office. An independent office. And that office there is charged with the responsibility of providing an independent assurance and information and advice, the one there with the lead we. I can't make that any more clearer than I have. Like I say, today, now we found who we talk to, and what we talk to them today, we mean them. Now make you go see me throat the stretch, me vein and the stretch, because I want that each and every one of them get the word. So they understand exactly waiting at this mommy in duty them according to the law and the organization or institution itself called Audit Sierra Leone. How many of we know say Audit Sierra Leone get this abbreviation when ASSL? How many of we don't do independent how you call it, research? How many of us don't go look for primary research into this? Other than relying on secondary. This is what we are dealing with here tonight. And these are some of the things that really cause the problem. So the prime function of the public sector unit, audit sector, now for provide independent assurance to government, the one the way they govern we, and that assurance the way they provide, it involves information and advice as to how they go before in terms of governing the country. So that anything when they do, they should properly account for the use of public resources. Fambulen are the key underlining word, Dandy. Tell like if you do research and you want to go further, key underlining word. For advice, they want the way they rule we, okay? This now, I'm not a preacher, I'm a teacher. They want the way they rule we for properly account for the use of public resources. Because public resources, as you read the terminology, public is for every one of us. But we task this responsibility to a few for let them help we for manage this because we all can manage them. And in managing it, somebody can for manage them, provide advice and information so that the benefit will belong to every one of us and we fulfill the benefit. This is what it is about. And this is why holding government to account is a sacred duty. It's a constitutional duty. It is a public duty. It is one that cannot be compromised. And part of that process day belongs to the audit services of Sierra Leone. And this is what Madame Lara Taylor-Pierce has been doing for multiple years now. Until today, somebody else or others, they want fix with brain. I don't know whether an artificial intelligence, you have for believe something else, but this is not going to work. And by the power of this growing platform, we will continue to put the information out there for we people, okay? So Audit Service Sierra Leone can always strive, struggle, for assist audited bodies for improve their financial operation, and manage processes. Because remember, some of the problems that we are having now is one of processes and procedures, Fambulen. And we can't call that a success, and we are not making judgment We're expressing opinion based on relevant documents available to us. So we can provide a citation and therefore let everybody see, or also you can go get anything there. Quite relevant. So the reason why I continue to make emphasis on this is because I want for let these things sink into Fambulem. So nobody they can't tell you how for think. I mean waiting for think, but rather how for think. Independently, you think for yourself as long as the information is available, which makes this platform in logo stand out, saying information is indeed power. Because when you get the information, it empower you. And once it empower you, you become an independent thinker. Your mind becomes independent. You are thinking outside of the box and asking questions. This is not the first time it happened. It's happened many a times in which you see 1 + 1. And from time you remember from where you go to school and tell you say 1 + 1, 2. Now then they try for tell you say 1 + 1, no, it's no longer 2, it's 3. And it is scratch you head, it's almost like the form of squealer, Animal Farm. We know the rules. Now we all draw the rules, although we've been in at the background. But we were witnesses to these rules. But every morning when we grab, the rules have changed. There are conjunctions, and conjunctions, like here, conjunctions, connecting words. And when they connect, they get a different flavor. So what it may say shall when I must, they don't say and, they don't add they. But, shall, but, and. It's the same thing that is ongoing. Those of us who read Squealer back then, Animal Farm, this is what it is. It's an alternative reality that they're trying to paint to us. But the facts are there, and Sierra Leoneans, we are asking you, go to the picture. You are entitled to information. Information exists in the country, like declaration, if you want information. As long as the country, the security of the country is not compromised, that information and information where you're entitled to as per your constitutional right. Bear this in mind. That cannot be denied you because an empowered people, now people the way the governance system or those that govern us will fear. So certain information and the way they can keep away from us, such as audit reports. So let me return to this audit report, okay? So we don't understand, say, the audit report where they can conduct. Now, a matter of providing independent assurance and information and advice to them one day with the lead with, such as we see now, and we don't see for several years gone by. Nothing personal. It's a professional body of people. And not to Madame Lara Piastel or no more. There is a team of professional people. Some of them unsung. You don't hear about them. They don't care about all the limelight. They are doing their work diligently in the background. That's what they are tasked with. These are their responsibilities and they are living up to that. Men and women of uprightness, integrity, principle, God-fearing. And never shall we go to sit, your back. Now make una see the flyer I put out. It's mask. But they're not going to mask us. Mask us in the sense, the analogy of it, for shut we down. No. There's the power of the media. There's the power of social media. The middleman has been excluded. We can speak directly to you, like I speak to you now tonight. And these what I'm saying here are just facts. Because the report is there. These documents are there for you to see. So if you doubt me, I can put the website down, whether on a parliamentary website that you want to go to, for go check this up. Okay? So as we're going to say, governance and propriety in the conduct of public business, nothing will necessary through recommendations, which can be proffered during with mainstream financial compliance and performance audit. That's what we saw altogether. Now we say that during that kind of circumstances there, Audit Service Sierra Leone, not only now, continuously, because this is their mandate, this is their remit. They've been tasked for continue for re-evaluate and reassess how then they discharge their responsibility. Tell the kid it works on side. An appraisal, you know, most of we that are watching the program know about this. An appraisal is conducted, assessment, studying, you know, maybe using a tool, SWOT analysis, for example, for understand your strength, your weakness, your opportunities. I mean, you can use them two last letters, then you can apply them for waiting you they try for arrive at. In terms of businesses, they might talk about technology and etc. But in terms of other usages, you can talk about threats. But mostly, it's about the strength and weaknesses. So they continue for they re-evaluate the processes they within the use, just so that they themselves can be in compliance when they perform this their audit limits. The Auditor General, by law, has to ensure that the agencies work consistently. The Auditor General, by law, therefore ensure that consistently in the discharge of in duty, if it meets the highest standards, which is expected of either he or she. In this case, we have a she, but generally anybody else can occupy the office, but there are standards set that that occupant of the office has to meet. It's an obligation by law, defined by law. So I hope they get this. The highest of standards are expected of the occupant of that office. So Famulem, the highest of standards are expected of the occupant of the office. Can she or he go either way? That's the question. And to me, it's not. Although I will reserve judgment, you know, for the general public, but we go get for look at what he do. Why is she being vilified now? Why there is a deliberate attempt for smear now? Of course, it's something that out there in the public domain. We know because she released an authentic and official document, what I will come to again shortly, for show how authentic and waiting make this document authentic and waiting make the document independent. So as they say, the Auditor General therefore ensure by law that they work with it, they do consistently for meet higher standard. I mean, it's not the threshold, not a small office. If we go back again to what I said earlier, that she's charged with the responsibility for advice, governance. In other words, the ones that are governing us. She provides unlimited, you know, advice. Monitor with national, you know, funds them. How, you know, things are being used. That are the public audit. This is the responsibility. Providing independent assurance and advising government based on the report. Say we fall short here, we fall short here. So instead of picking the pieces, the mantle, Famulendina social media, never do the government any good at all. They think they're not good, and they do the government. Because waiting in the report, it's unbelievable. But that's just what it is. And we'll come to that. Yeah. And Famulem, one thing I want to let you know before I move on to my next point is the key elements of the agency in strategy. Again, for make sure say it meet the challenges we did before them, such as what you will see so now. But even this one, I mean, to the agency, not to anything. Or I mean, over the years, you will expect this when you put a report with against somebody. Of course, that person there and in people they do get upset with you. But something they were available where they guide you, you guide in principles, which is to ensure that you remain independent. And independent, this Auditor General has been although some people in the tribe for tell we otherwise. But the report is there for Sierra Leone and then for C for make the determination themselves. Okay? So we talk about the challenges them week in day before with this one, we then try for Smiaram. I shall say Mamila Pias. Of course, na mortar man, so maybe some of it might hurt, although she don't hear most of it. But we don't strive hard for do hard work within the remit of your assignment. Then others are hell-bent on dismantling that effort there. Of course, it will hurt anybody, be you the president, be you anybody in that regard. So then challenges there are, you get for embrace a culture. Listen, Mami Lara Pias get for embrace a culture which she's been doing years in and year out, that it get for ensure that this culture will continuously improve. So she's human. The team is made up of human beings. Now walk and they walk. Waiting this mean, it's not impossible for the error dip on the report. Minor errors can they. I can water run down for mean typographical error. You might want for type 500. Okay. In the process, you might mistakenly type an extra 0, which change the numerical value of what you did try for type, or what you did try for express or say. These things are possible. But these things now, team back when they go back again because for possible review. And when they come to that, why, even though you don't make mistake potentially, but there are other processes where the report can go through. So those things will be spotted and rectified. And we go attempt for say why, if potentially there was an error and that error was not spotted or was left to be printed out in the final documents that came out to the public, we go attempt for look at the reasons why. Famule, we talk something very, very serious here tonight, in which the Auditor General of the Republic of Sierra Leone, a fine citizen of the country, a woman with principle, a woman who stands upright with integrity, a woman who is God-fearing, who has been doing the work as bestowed upon her, as defined by the Constitution, which is the guiding principle, is now put on the spotlight deliberately by some miscalculated citizens to make her appear as if she's incompetent. But I got word for her. It's not going to work. Because in between me and you, the truth lies. And the truth, no matter how much you try for crush them, it never dies. That's just a fact. This is just a fact, Fambulem. So anyway, like I say, there are different parts where I be one for we look at Mami Taylor Lara Pias and in audit agency. So I just try for talk about the Mami, the power them where it get and usa it derive them power them they form. You know, say, no, they're above the law, and somewhere this power come up from. And because this power come up from some side, she has to act within the remit of them power and they within them power and they permit them for do. That's what she does. So there are no reports of abuse of power, and we get for be tall in we thinking. The one that when they try for smear what they are actually saying. Because what they do is deliberate that they inject bits and pieces out there for confuse the gullibles, the vulnerables, which predominantly they've been doing, which is not helping the country, which is not helping the government. Because to move forward, when you err, those errors has to be identified. And once those errors are identified, then solutions can be found. You cannot find solutions to our problems that you have not identified or agree with under your watch, if I may add. Family, and this is serious. So let me talk about the Mami in legal mandate. And when we talk about legal mandate, family, we they talk about the Constitution, the legal mandate, the Constitution, I cover we all, 7 million plus of us. It's the Constitution that covers every one of us. So inside this Constitution, all man get lily power waiting they assigned to you and how you can conduct yourself. So in other words, there are rules that guide Audit Sierra Leone. Audit Sierra Leone is not a power unto itself. There is something that guides, there's a guiding principle by law. So if there's a violation, like people in the tribe for make fumble and for believe, obviously you will be reined in. Parliament get oversight. Now Parliament ain't given the power. So if she abuses that power, Parliament can call them, scold them, chastise them, take action against them. Has this happened? I bet no. And why? I will tell you now shortly. And before shortly, in fact, because there was nothing to scold her about. The report was professional. It was an audit report. Now people in the tribe for inject, oh, inside audit report, you know, say you're not supposed to use teeth. You're not supposed. Did she? Oh, she's been doing this for years. So suddenly, the mommy don't know the rules. Are we serious? So that we Kinjimi politics, that we gutter politics. Now one can bring so now for deprive few of us, for can deprive the many. No, it's not going to work. It's not going to work at all. So I mean, say, I want for to talk about the Mami in legal mandate. Not only the Mami per se, but the agency as a whole. I want to talk about the legal mandate of the agency. Yeah, wanna bear with me. I get so many reports on the table because what we talk now, we talk about facts. When we talk on the Then and Now platform, we talk nothing about facts. We look at primary. It's not like we're not going to look at circumstances. Of course we do. But we are happy that we get a team of researchers out there who are on top of their game, who knows exactly what it is. So what will they talk? That's why we talk with real confidence, what the real issues are. Politics, now we got some politics. Now one can win so that. Okay, just load this. I'm going to get feedback, and if I get this right, Fambulema, they ask una again, una let we shape this. Thank you, Sister Janet. I love that English rose. If I can call them an English rose. Really love that. Yeah, really, really love that. Thank you so much. So I say I want to talk about the Mami in legal mandate. As per the 1991 Constitution. I mean, they talk about the Constitution. Now, in cover we all, habeas corpus. Yeah, you person say, oh, me right. Even though most of we don't know we rights, but we do have we rights. And waiting with the call for on this platform is we people in need for begin understand say they do have a right. We therefore begin for provide this constitution. If now workshop we able for set up, we they send unto we people them. We they provide facilities so we people then go begin for read and begin for understand what their rights are. Also, they can go for source out information. This is the age of information. We cannot sit and allow certain people to be deprived of only because certain people want to use them for continue their selfish end, their selfish deeds. No way, it's not going to happen. Yeah, we will continue to say this till our last breath. At least when you pass on, or shortly before you pass on, you are confident enough that you've done something, you know, that gives you a freedom of mind that prepares you for the great beyond. That leaves a legacy where we man cherish so much, where we self the follow now, because a legacy now forever. It's all like what they do now then and now. It's forever, sacrosanct. No one is going to take this away from us. It's like, well, they appear, they forgive you credibility. Are you serious? It's reaching a point where you maybe will have to come. We don't go to you because all we do is just put out the information out there as we are doing now. So let's talk about the legal mandate. And I'm not bragging, I'm just trying to get the information out to people. So section 119 of the 1991 Constitution. Family, I repeat, section 119 of the 1991 Constitution. Here's what it says, Fambulen. 1, there shall be an Auditor General for Sierra Leone whose office shall be public, whose office shall be a public office, and who shall be appointed by the President after consultation with Public Service Commission, as the PSC, and subject to the approval of Parliament. Family, I understand that part clearly, first of all. Let me see who the Mami derive a mandate from. Who any occupant of that office where Madame Larapia still occupy right now derive their powers from. How this person is appointed. So there shall be, when they use the word shall na a constitution, then a must, pauper, there shall, pauper, there must be an Auditor General for Sierra Leone, whose office shall be a public office, and that person will go occupy that office there, shall be appointed by the President of the Republic of that country. Not only the President will appoint just like that Jaran one, that will only happen after consultation with the Public Service Commission, which is the PSC of the Republic of Sierra Leone. And it doesn't really stop there. It is subjected to parliamentary approval. So Fambule, here we go. These are the processes. So if we say they call Madame Larapia Taylor to account, which we can do, but it should be honestly done. And if it's not honestly done, like now on partisan basis, or we not equity right about we or them, which I don't tolerate at all because I don't want to see a kind of politics of we and them. Unfortunately, I can't help that. But then that means we are calling the process itself into question. We are calling the executive branch into question. We are calling the parliamentary branch into question because the President shall appoint the occupant of that office of the Auditor General. But this will be subjected to consultation with the Public Service Commission of Sierra Leone. It doesn't end there. That will be subjected to parliamentary approval. So if person therefore go through all the stages today and finally approved, at least they've got some credence. But also, we've agreed. Because now different format then you go through for you for be approved. So number 2 of the 1991 Constitution that deals with the legal mandate of this particular office or person in question here today is the Public Accounts of Sierra Leone. The Public Accounts of Sierra Leone and all public offices, that's including the courts, the accounts of the central and the government administration, of the universities and public institutions of like nature, any statutory corporation, company, or other body. Fabule now text now they read from. So now word for word, and this is now the Constitution. That's where I'm reading from. Let me get it straight. I'm not making this up. I'm reading directly from there. Okay? Or other body or organization established by an act of Parliament or any statutory instrument or otherwise set up partly or wholly out of public funds. This is important. This is key. Set up out of public funds. In other words, funds where now the public now own me and you. Anybody with a set up partly, wholly out of public funds, money will belong to me and you, shall be audited. Shall be audited and reported on by or on behalf of the Auditor General of the Republic of Sierra Leone. And for that purpose, And for that purpose, the Auditor General shall have access to all books, all records, returns, and other documents relating or relevant to those accounts in question. Family, I could go on and on and on, but the point what I try to make here is, whatever we talk here about the Auditor General in office and the person involved, is lawful, is legal, is within the remit of the law under the Supreme Constitution of the Republic of Sierra Leone. It's a mandate bequeathed, given, assigned to the occupant in the office. And that's the woman behind me, as we speak now, who currently holds that office, where they operate under all the legal mandates they are, as per the 1991 Constitution of the Republic of Sierra Leone. And that's Madam Lara Taylor Pias, where this platform named the Woman of the Year in Sierra Leone, for good reasons. Family, I read one or two more parts, here in terms of the legal mandate of the Auditor General, the office, and the occupant under the Constitution. You see, not a bush radio talk. This is not legal talk now, they talk. Legal documents, the Constitution of Sierra Leone, which is supreme to all other laws. There is no if, no but, no wongo, no wanga. But wait here, the talk. Okay? So let me look at section 3. Under subsection 3, under section 119. Under subsection 119. Yeah. It says, the public accounts of Sierra Leone and all other persons or authorities referred to in subsection 2. Remember, don't forget, I just don't read subsection 2. So subsection 3 says, the public accounts of Sierra Leone and all other persons or authorities referred to in subsection 2 shall be kept in such form as the Auditor General shall approve. As the Auditor General shall approve. So you see the powers where Parliament give him for use, but within an independent structure, guided by the principles of the laws of Sierra Leone and the confidence reposed in you by both the head of state and the parliamentary committee, where finally they give approval and the public commission. So it also talk about the Auditor General shall within 12 months, it's not the final one I read about legal mandate, because there are many. And this now from the Constitution of the read form. And Fambulem are the teluna, please, after tonight and others that we get for watch this program subsequently, please not forget for visit the Constitution of the Republic of Sierra Leone. Take a look at section 119 and take a look at subsection 1, 2, 3, 4. That particular area of the Constitution has something to do with the issues at hand now, where it's being discussed, which is the Auditor General in report basically in the office of the auditor herself. But what we talk about here now, waiting Gidimami law, waiting get the legal mandate. That's what we are talking about. And there are many. I just want to read this one or maybe one or two more, and then I'll move on to the next point because I don't forget. I've been already the bullet point then to as how I want to deal with this issue in 4 different parts today. Now, the second part, Famulem, this is exactly what we are to deal with right now. And just for remind Famulem, when we begin the program, I tell you, I want to deal with 4 parts just on the money in business or the auditor generally office, where we go abbreviate as ASSL, Auditor Sierra Leone. So we don't talk about the powers of Audit Services Sierra Leone, the powers that office they get for conducting business of auditing, with you the reason why, as stipulated by law. And we also, right now, they talk about the relationship between Parliament, understanding what Parliament is, and the ASSL, which is Audit Services Sierra Leone. So now they are there now, and then I will move to the next one shortly we now one of the reports them inside the report, because this not be one of the most toxic one where people in the use for full we people them. We will touch on that briefly. So the auditor shall within 12 months immediately preceding means coming before the next financial year. So let me say the financial year. I'm not an auditor, nothing for do with finance. So I just to say, a year, a financial year might run between January and December. I think some other countries then differ, like USA work. They run between April to April. But let me say, with this one, what we talk about now, the financial year runs between January and December. So, what are they understand, as per the Constitution, the Auditor General shall within 12 months of the end of the year, immediately preceding, now the key word is preceding, a year to come, the new year, just like how January don't cancel of a new year. Before this January they come, the audit report for the year will come before January must be released, must be published for public consumption. We therefore outline how all the government perform, waiting and do, side and fall short, waiting and CD, and etc., which is exactly which is at the center of the debate right now. It's at the center of the debate right now. So that Auditor General, they submit that report they fambulem to Parliament. So not a report no more when the mammy they pull so no more where he print them, they pull them out there. Like some people they want to make we for believe. It doesn't work that way. The mammy they pull a report, that report they go to Parliament. Remember, I say Parliament, now he finally approve them. The President appoint them based on the approval of Parliament, but there are processes that the occupant of the office goes through. The President makes the appointment in consultation with Public Services Sierra Leone, and then she goes on to Parliament. Parliament scrutinizes them, and if she meets the requirements and she's eligible for the job, a further submission is made to the President that she's clear, she's got the all clear, and she's appointed on that basis. So imagine this person go through them processes they are. So as per law again, it stipulates that when that audit report shall have been compiled, that audit report need for go back to Parliament for scrutiny, and if they go to a parliamentary committee, now Parliament, a parliamentary committee will get oversight over then document there, and when they talk about a committee known as the Accounts Committee, now Parliament. And guess who that head this committee at Fambulem? Where people everywhere make noise so. Like say the mammy just pull the report because he get bias, he get this political affiliation there, as they try for make people and believe. Now he put her out there. It doesn't work that way. Now not make nobody fool now. The report goes to Parliament. It goes to the Public Account Committee, headed by Singapore Thomas. Who don't know Singapore Thomas? The deputy leader of the House, the deputy speaker of the House. I will not say which party he belongs to, down in on an assignment. But this is where the report goes. Because it's almost like the reverse of the appointment process. The President appoints, subject to consultation with another body. And after that consultation, the person with the President feel for appoint goes to Parliament for scrutiny and approval. The same way, because Parliament gets something for do with this report not to just any wanga report where they come out, like Fambul and they try for make we believe, like say Mami Telopias, just writing reports and then he puts them out there. It doesn't work that way, Fambul, and they don't allow you understand this. And if somebody they watch tonight, when you don't watch and make sure say you tell you Fambul. And you don't just take my word for it, visit the Constitution. Please visit the Constitution. It spells out how this thing works. So, assuming that there was a mistake or there might be bias. So, Parliament, the Oversight Committee, a Public Accounts Committee, where this document go to, also they approve of the document. Even though the committee is headed, remember say, on bipartisan basis, it's not like it's just partisan, it's on bipartisan basis. but it's headed by Senator Paul Thomas, who is the Deputy Speaker of the House, who belongs to ... So how can a report of this kind goes to the House and you not meet the requirement? Because now Parliament can decide for withhold the report, because that's why it's sent to Parliament, for scrutinize them and see whether it's right or wrong and etc. And they can recall and they can put, you know, these are processes. But Parliament saw it fit and they released the report. Now this report now fumble and they try for tell we like say, because they're not used for what we face go up. As they talk about the political establishment, I'm not only singling the ruling party now, but I make us say that they do a disservice to the nation. They want them where they parabulate all over social media as you talk something so bad, because that's what they're looking for. They are sent out there, you know, where you talk something, we're right, just like I'm saying now, coming from parliamentary committee, and they take me time for let we understand that. So if they encounter you with that nonsense, you can tell them, say, look, take your rubbish elsewhere. But me tell us not just they pull the report. There's a reverse process. They go to the committee in a parliament, headed by Senator Paul Thomas, who is the chairman of the Public Accounts Committee. Then committee people and then they sit down and look at the report and scrutinize them. That's why they send the report there in the first place. If you meet the approval and give the report the nod, and the report is published. And this is what happened in this case. So all that in there would be fambulem. I don't know. But the reason why they put out this information, like I can say again, it is the duty of the conscious for conscientize the unconscious. Because in so doing, we all suddenly become conscious. And what that does, it raises the level of the game. It raises the level of the arguments, the talk, the conversation. And the only profit, the derivative from such initiative is 100%, if mathematically it can allow me, 110% possible for the country, for develop and go towards the right direction, where the few don't fool or use the many. Family, this report also, like I've been talk, the mommy not just the tour out there. Parliament, they debate. Parliament, they debate on the report. And if we understand the composition of Parliament, which is a bipartisan parliament, although we get question marks about the parliament, but the idea is in terms of this report, we know whose side the advantage go clearly lies. But that's not what we want to go into tonight. The bottom line is that report is scrutinized by parliament. And they sit on the whole sessions. If you remember, we don't see such things play out in the general public. Between the man where this platform called the Man of the Year, and we soon they do a program honor. One of the few Sierra Leoneans, because we believe, say, despite the name, the title honorable, largely ceremonial, because if honorable men and women don't act honorable, then of course, it becomes an issue of question, or more likely ceremonial, because this is what we are used to giving them. This is their title. But it is heartwarming for know that we still get honorable men, few honorable men and women, and one of them happens to be a parliamentarian, Honorable Tawa Conte. I hold the brother in high esteem, because in the den of wolves, him as a sheep continue to take on a pack of wolves. Some of this we've seen played out in public. We say one of Tawa in crime, now for resign publicly because he talk up then try for tying on, being back so he not go do in duties regarding an agency or institution called Salcab, when a cash cow, where they generate money, then internet, then call business and what have you. And the last week, I think we've been here with, now last weekend or a few days ago, we've been here with brother, we can explain to me how this thing they work. Remember, we will be small, we've been here something where they call Sierra Tel. So I tell I'm responsible for all the transactions there are in terms of communication in and out of the country. That has been sourced out now to this thing when they call SALCAP. And you know, say any outside money day, not draw business. And then the contradictions don't become many. At some point, the President of the Republic, His Excellency Julius Maada Bio, say this was a profitable organization, they make money. Within the same vein, we see in appointed Minister of Information come and can't tell we say this organization is not a profitable organization. And there were contradictions right there between the head of state and the man we appoint as Information Minister. And all Mr. Tawakonte, Honorable Tawakonte, did was the question, who do we believe? The president has told us that this organization is a profitable organization, it's making money in behalf of the country. Now you are coming to tell us that this organization is not making money because something was being proposed. And what they proposed now for decoupling. In other words, for break them up by parts, sell yonder, a portion down there, yonder, you know, just like that. So it no longer remain one entity. And if it no longer remain one entity, then break them up, it becomes weaker and it becomes the property of different variants. So Tawakonte stood in behalf of the people in question. And certain people did not like that and then try for rein them in. We see that play out publicly. And normally, you go to the back room and go sign and go write your resignation letter. Tawa, I congratulate you. In front of the rolling cameras, the man resigned. And for that resignation day, for standing up for the people, he's now been excommunicated. He's now been sent to the back rooms. It's almost like time out, which man can say, because you misbehave, then begin misbehave. And send you in one place, go turn your face. Remember, all these small, they go school. If teacher no one learn you, they tell you for go team up and turn your face to the wall. The rest of the class, they behind you. That was a kind of a punishment which was torturing, it was psychological. You know, what man or big no man, the member. Imagine a small boy, you want for the jump. The same thing I did not do, only because for standing up for the people. But not to what we talk about tonight. I've been just want to introduce that quickly into this conversation. What will they get? So because it's part of also of the conversation, and because we get a program coming up in which we've named our Man of the Year of Sierra Leone, and we'll go do this program for explain why we determine say this man now Man of the Year. In the wolf's den, he's the sheep in there, and he's surviving yet with difficulty, and it's us, me and you, who are responsible for help Tawa, for take the fight onto them. We don't have to be cowards because him alone can only start something, and we have to help with that process by telling government and the rest of this corrupt pack that we are aware and we are looking and we are not going to have it. If we have to go out there for Tawa, I'm not talking about usurping government, I'm not talking about, violence or anything. But for stand up for a parliamentarian whom we believe is representing the aims, the aspirations of his people, and then you want sideline them, and then we as a citizen, we allow that to happen. You know what will happen? It doesn't end there because there's going to be another and another and another. Things should not remain the same. It should not be business as usual. They should not come with this algorithm that they've worked out and say, we know these people, they're dormant. We know these people, if something happens, it's like a week. At most, it's 2 weeks. After that, it's swept up under the carpet, it's game all over again. Yes, they think as such. Then do the calculation and they think for we. Luckily, some of us are thinking outside of the box. And we've made this a national commitment that we will speak to the very last of our voices, to the very last of our breath, for conscientize the unconscious, for trying for let we brother and sister out there and understand, so that as we continue to get the multiplier effect, as people and they understand this, then we'll go further. It's not about APC and SLPP, it's about the country. So I find out, say, I'm kind of drifting away, from this exercise in the parliament where they talk about, we're waiting at the Mami in mandate. But I think I don't emphasize the main point on the Mami in mandate. And that's the exact point that I want to make. That this thing not they come out just any side, this report, and just put them out there. It goes through Parliament. Parliament, they ratify them. to the Parliamentary Accounts Committee headed by Senge Paul Thomas, who is the Deputy Speaker of the House of Parliament of the Republic of Sierra Leone. So now they give approval to that document, that audit report where you see come out. So here are the contradictions now. Government is not condemning it, even if they might be doing it privately, and we expect them for doing it privately because it's a scathing review, a scathing attack on government, a damning indictment of 2.5 years of governance, carelessness, recklessness, irresponsibility. But we can only learn and raise regain if we accept, scrutinize the report, accept what our faults are, then we are able to find solutions to these problems. So, under the provision, in the exercise of the main function under the Constitution or any other law, the Auditor General shall not be subject to the direction or control of any person or authority. Fabule, I repeat that part there again. And I tell you now, please, Sierra Leoneans, try to get a copy of the Constitution of Sierra Leone. If you don't have access to the copy, send a request to the website, call Supermed, call Bangali Mansare, call Roland Hamilton, call Victor Spain, or Samuna Holland, call me, make a request. We go make sure say that Constitution they are available. Tell we waiting exactly you want to understand for that Constitution. They will go highlight them, underline them for you, but try to get a copy, try to acquaint yourself with the Constitution. This now your protection as a citizen. This guarantees your right. So in the exercise of the function of the mummy, or any other occupant for that matter, but since we talk about the current occupant, but this is not standing law, under the Constitution of the Republic of Sierra Leone, the Auditor General shall not be subject to the direction or control of any person or authority. Such is the independence of Mami Lara Taylor Pias. But sometimes power can go on your head. So they set triggers and safeguards. So even though all of this cannot happen to Ram, but a report still goes to Parliament. But under this thing, the way they talk about shall not be under the control of any person. For example, and this is not just an example. Suddenly, Francis Ben Kaifala say, I want interview, or I want scrutinize you and what have you. This is what we're talking about. So not subjected to any of it because the ACC boss himself get vast powers. But every power gets limitation, and the Constitution reigns supreme. We see a similar thing will play out again between Francis Ben Kaifala, the ACC boss, and Honorable Tawa Conte, who continues to remain honorable. And family, I hope they follow this. There was an outburst on social media between these two. Because the honorable man from the ACC, Francis Ben Kaifala, thinks that again, this unremitting powers, where just they're all over the place. And even extend that to Parliament. Can you imagine such a cheek? And Tawage for caution. Say, no, sir. The buck stops here. I know they talk about between Parliament and the President, and they talk about between Parliament, Honorable Tawakonte, and the ACC boss. No, sir. The buck stops at the table of Parliament. Not you. That played out again publicly. So, of course, they're not going to like Tawa. So we need to understand, say, subsection 6 in 1991 Constitution, it abrogates certain power then to the Mami, where in other abuse, and they talk about section 119, subsection 6. 7, the provisions of subsection 6 shall not preclude the President acting in accordance with the advice of subsection 6 shall not preclude the President acting on advice with the Cabinet or Parliament from requesting the Auditor General in the public interest to audit at any time the accounts of anybody, organizations, as is referred to in subsection 2. Now we'll go back to, and so when you read constitution or law generally, it bring you come before, it can you go behind. References, you have to be patient because now so you don't understand that. Waiting subsection 2 say, where subsection 6 and 7, the cite to. The public accounts of Sierra Leone and all public offices, including the courts, the accounts of the central and local government administrations, of the universities and public institutions of like nature, any statutory corporation, company or other body or organization established by an act of parliament. By an act of parliament, or any statutory instrument rather, or otherwise, set up partly or wholly out of public funds, shall be subjected. That's why it cites we back to section 2. So 52, the laws of Sierra Leone on the Sierra Leone web, go check them up. The Constitution of 1991. It is there. So Fambulam, I'm speaking Constitution tonight. I'm not a constitutional lawyer, but this is just basic English. If I do get tied up, I know so I can call, but I keep reading this and it's simple. And you can read it too. You don't need to be an Ivy League student or university student. Basic language. I don't understand the shall and the but 99% I can assure you. Pick up the Constitution and read them and see your provision inside. Because probably when you go on holiday, when they want to take advantage of you, of course you can tell them, they might still take advantage of you. But the more we all continue to keep telling them, they know that we are wise enough. And it will stop. It strengthens the departments of government or the organs of government, the judiciary, the parliamentary. We begin to tell the parliament officer, they say, we understand the role of parliament, the house of the people. This is the house of the people. And luckily for we get few people in there. Jivao was a man also standing up, but of course he's back out. He's left Tawa only. Tawa, just like in name say, still standing. So the salary and allowances payable to the Auditor General, her rights in respect of leave of absence, retiring age and other conditions. Of course, we can go into that, but that's not really necessary. I don't make the main points them on that particular thing on the mandate. And the mandate, they tell you go back to the Constitution of 1991, subsection 191, subsection 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's all dedicated to this particular cause, talking about the Office of Sierra Leone Audit. Famulem. What will they talk now important? They come to the end now, but I want to talk about the relationship. The relationship, yeah? But just before I go to the relationship, what I mean by the relationship between, not the relationship, but one of the reports in the Auditor General in report. That's something I want to say regarding the law then. And emphasize or re-emphasize that we want to do because this is important to this conversation. And I stress on them many times, but before I move to the next section, I will just want to stress on them one more time. Mami Laratino, Pias not just publishing report, print them and put them out there. The Auditor General report don't work that way. Is subjected to parliamentary scrutiny. So we need to understand that process from the appointment, which is quite critical to this conversation, that the president is responsible for the appointment of an Auditor General for Audit Sierra Leone, the Office of Audit Sierra Leone, but subject to consultation, just like the chairman of NEC, subject to consultation with a particular branch of office. And even after that consultation, when the president deems it fit, after the consultation, the president shall then forward the name of the appointee to Parliament for further scrutiny. Parliament gives the final approval because remember, this person has the confidence of the president. So therefore the president makes the appointment, but because there's a process, the president consults, and then the president forwards such name of the person to Parliament for further scrutiny. Parliament then approves after scrutinizing, and then forward same to Mr. President, say, we've done our scrutiny, sir. She meets the bill, or he meets the bill. But of course, that was the president's person in mind to appoint, because the president in his due diligence, as the sanctity of state require, appoint such person, makes it official. So now, so this thing here, they work. So therefore, when the Mami put out in reports, although it get this independence, but it still go through the checks and balance system. In other words, the report goes back. The reason why they emphasize this is because there is a throng of army out there, they try to deceive people. So the Mami not just publish a report and send them. They send them to Parliament. Parliament approve of the report, and then the report is published. On this basis, I will end on that particular section there. And waiting, I want to do now Famulem. Okay. I want to talk about the mandate of the Public Account Committee. Or probably I will get for left this for another day. Because as I say, I don't go far into time. And honestly, in a 1 hour program now, we want to get Paulo content for talk about and a few other things for talk about. For close them. Although I go watch through with them one day. But you get the mandate of the Public Account Committee, which is known as the PAC. So, like I tell you now, this is now one of the few oversight committee then. But this particular one responsible for this Mami in area, this account area, this audit in area, and this person way na the oversight committee man na Singapore Thomas. All committees are drawn from different political membership. In other words, political parties then within a parliament. Or in other words, no one particular committee, not just made up of one set of parliamentarians from the same party. Parliament, not only inside one party state, they can't and they can function. But this is a multi-party state. So different party people that within a parliament are part and parcel of them various committees there. The head might be from some powerful party, but there are others. Okay? There are others. So that committee there can hold a meeting in parliament, but they can also convene the meeting there outside of parliament. There might be instances where we'll make them decide for convene the meeting there outside of parliament. But that has to come with the permission of the Speaker of the House. Okay? It has to come with the permission of the Speaker in the House. The committee get boku thing where they call standing orders where they govern them. Boku. But like I say again, we will talk about this another day. This is quite important for let we understand. Probably we need for begin whole a parliamentary section. So Fambulen will begin for understand what in them boku committee they mean. Okay? So let we look again closely at the Auditor Sierra Leone general in reports and what we will make of the general observation them as per this report. Like I've been saying, I want for let we look inside one report inside the report. So inside this report, bear in mind, public enterprises them all, commission them all. Then donor funded project them, or whether you want to look at from a general perspective, like I say, virtually across all the public enterprises and commission, waiting this report note, family and land the land so on this report business, waiting this report note that there were several cash irregularities. Now in the report observe, that might mean report. Several, meaning many, cash, physical money, irregularities. So even though it sounds like small, but when they compute the figures, when they add everything up, when they do the maths, you know what this end up with? 66.3 billion leons. I get one my friend working, convert them money there for me. I'm not good with figures, so I'm not even going to attempt it. But most of them, where they watch, no. It add up to 66.3 billion leons. Then cash irregularity, then they will take place between them, public enterprise them, then commission them, and then donor funded projects. Imagine, unaccounted for. Where did they go? Same corruption that we are talking about. But waiting can identify the things there and the purpose this for the audit report. But of course, if the audit report was against me, then I will not be liking the audit report, will I? Definitely no. The significant or most important things that we need for identify in the examination of this audit report, now things that where they can outline to Famulem right now. Oh dear. We nation it is impaired, but we should not give up. We should hope, but then hope and aspiration, and therefore let we attain them. We get for be practical, and we resolve, we get for strengthening the resilience. What do I mean by this? We get for be able for call out when it's necessary for call out, and be measured in we approach, cautious in waiting we do, but for continue for say nothing but the truth, because the truth shall set us free. I say I want to identify the seriousness of these things that will fall under the report. Highlights them. We can go on for explain all of them. But again, I wish I've been undecided for do only this, because I'll not be even decided for do time on this. But for the benefit of the general public. And for dissuade them, then one day when they try for fool with people, we decide for come out with this report as per the facts, based on waiting, very significant, important, and related to the rules governing the office, the election process, the process where the report get for go through, as to the point where it get for be released. So Famulem, general observation inside there, I don't talk about the loss of a total amount of 66.3 billion leones. That's quite a sum. Quite a sum. In a poor country in which 60% of the youths are not employed, yet 66 billion can go unaccounted for. Imagine what 66 billion can do. That's what we need for imagine. But I also say I want to talk about other important matters where we identify inside the Auditor General a report. Inside our report today, you see something we get for do with unexplained expenditure. Like I say, we from Infantry for broke this down when we talk about unexplained expenditure, or maybe at some point, maybe I go down on them. In fact, let me see whether I can go down on them quickly. Unexplained expenditure, just like the English dynamic, as anybody can read this. And then you can do follow up for find out. So waiting at the unexplained expenditure, how it come for the unexplained expenditure. So they spend money, but they can't explain how they spend the money. In other words, there are no receipts to that money that the way they spend. So you only can tell people verbally, or you produce receipt but cannot produce the item for the receipt where you produce, or you cannot, or the receipt not correspond in terms of specification. And I will give a typical example very, very soon. Another thing identified in this report is unsupported statements of payments made. So you come verbally, you tell Famulem, on a this now pay, now this now pay. How you pay them, why you pay them, you cannot support why. This is rampant corruption. You cannot support why. Hence, you see why the report is hated by some. Why did they try by all means for make this report and the author of the report appear like say she is not significant, she is not honest, she's an unprincipled woman. We see people the way we think they get reputation. We're not good standing people, but just because of political gains, entrenched politics, polarized politics, identity politics, then compromise them principles for the short term instead of the long term in the interest of the country. You get statutory deductions, which were not paid. How will you not understand this? Statutory by law. Monies were deducted off people, off entities, off people, and that money that they're supposed to go to sign. The reason why it appeared at the audit report, because these are the very things that the Mami they audit. that in office they audit. And that make me take una back to the very beginning of this week's conversation, where we talk about the role of the audit services, which is the prime function of public auditing for provide independent assurance and information and advice to them one day with the wood we sow, and for properly account for the use of we money them, public money, the use of public resources. This is what it is. So these are the general observations, and just 3 of them. Okay, 3 of them. Pardon me. Need some water. Unexplained expenditure, unsupported payments, and statutory deductions, which were not paid. Family, this is not made up. This is in the report, and it's real. You're not going to make an entry into a report which doesn't exist. These things do exist. Now, Ime could try for lay out the principles then before una, say not to report no more based on Mamila Rapias, nothing way in a team of experts, people well paid so that they can compromise waiting and they do. And even at that, there are safeguards for make sure that the reports remain independent, remain lawful, legal, and independent. So they send them back to Parliament for scrutiny before finally it is released. President approve. How much more can we say for let family stop this rubbish, this nonsense when they do? Revenue not paid into the consolidated fund, into public purse, into the kitty, the public kitty. Usa we manaku, all we manaku they would get. Whether revenue, whether not payments, funds, and what have you, usa it go, the consolidated fund. So the main composition and analysis of these losses, let me look at them quickly, and then I'll talk about the COVID audit report like I promised. I want to talk about one quick audit report. So now I want to do this quickly, okay? So there's an analysis of irregularities on the activities of public enterprise details, which amounted to, see what I've been telling you, I say I'm not good with figure. As I begin see there's 0 there, so I don't confuse me, don't begin at. But I will attempt for column. So that irregularity, the way we see in our public enterprises, it come up to something like 1,096,407,000. Goodness me, Lord have mercy. 1,095,407,086,000. That now payment of salaries and other benefits where they say they pay but not accounted for, where we term public enterprise details and other irregularities that will take place inside a particular area there. Okay, just see that is 6.6 million. Okay, luckily for me, my brother they break it down. So this amount of 6.6 million, 1,095,407,086,000 is the equivalent of $6.6 million. Again, family, there we go. We say we suffer. We in poverty, abject poverty. 60% of we youth them are out of job, and yet this kind of money they go unaccounted for. Where did it go? Had it been there? What would this money have done? Here to upgrade national development and put we brother them into work, we sisters them into work, so that they find some dignity and some respect. That's just one. So unsupported payments and other funds not accounted for also amounted to 862,560,000. I repeat, 39,885,862,560,000. This is a FIBA real headache where they call the money alone misappropriated, unaccounted for. Really money unaccounted for. This is why they try for Wongo and Wangawi, like say, will not get hit. And this is something will happen over the last 2 years. And if one fixate on the audit report, 2019, 2020, this is what happened. All this brought over, I will explain shortly. It has nothing to do with these final figures. They are only there for reference because at the time, the audits and they were read, whether not 2014, now as a matter of reference because there were questions asked. There were questions unanswered. Okay? So the one I just read just now, which is 39 trillion, 885 billion, 862 million, 560,000 is the equivalent of 190 million US dollar. Lord have mercy. Family, see why it's important for let we read this report and we see why the ferocious attack on Mrs. Lara Pierce. But this is not going to go unanswered by people like us. And there are many others where they talk about this report and we will continue to talk about them. You see, fortunately for we and the people, they cannot control the narrative. They cannot. And this has been exposed. So that means report normally, then we don't handle and talk inside there. And because they get monopoly, and they talk about both about it then, but not now, they get monopoly over news media, either you're in SLBC, SLBS, or some other stations the way they get monopoly over. This is no longer the case. This is no longer the case. Social media is right in the middle of it and is the most widely listened to. So Fambulela repeats, then let's go to the next one. They will repeat the figure there, so the figure then will sink in. So revenue not paid into the consolidated fund, the main composition of the revenue there, what they talk about. We look at the activity of the public enterprise, and this is the kind of money other benefits they will not pay into their account and they where they're supposed to account for 1,095,407,086,000, which is the equivalent of $6.6 million. Unsupported payments and other funds not accounted for 39,885,862,560,000, which is the equivalent of 190 million US dollar. We also see unexplained, ineligible, excess expenditures. Unexplained, ineligible. You're not eligible for them, but yet money go. Unexplained, the neighbor for tell we waiting, this money go pan. And then excess expenditure, if you spend 2, you spend 5. Waiting on the amount to 1,598,804,031,000. Lord have mercy. Fambulem. Unakamo. Let's see if my brother don't break landed down for me. Yes, he has. Goodness me. And that amounts to 3.9 million US dollar. I hope so you were able to give me the total of all the one they were they broke down. So the next one are revenue not banked or other revenue related issues. So the revenue was generated. All this big talk about single treasury account. Oh, this are the money there. We'll put under the consolidated fund. Famble and listen to this. Revenue not banked and other revenue related issues then. You forgo pay under, you not pay under. You forgo pay through a system, you not pay through the system. Instead, monies were paid into private accounts, into other accounts. Why? Single treasury accounts. People who are fighting corruption. See what I've been talking 2 years ago? The process. And people in one car, they are, of course, law left down there. So revenue not banked or any other related revenue then regarding this same underlying factor, 16 trillion, 283 billion, 954 million leons. Lord have mercy. Family, when I listen to all of their money there, me hate self don't begin they at me. That all the money they have within this short period. So we get them kind of money there in the country. I thought this country was broke. I thought the country, the economy was bankrupt. Or for use the president in your own word verbatim, a near bankrupt economy. So near bankrupt economy, okay, well said. So, but this is how much we had, but we cannot account for it, or this is what was being generated. Like you know, 2 more figures, or in fact, like you know, one more figure. 2 more figures. Statutory deductions not paid to the relevant authorities. Statutory by law, we deduct money from people then. We very citizens then, what we say we defend for. What we say we defend, what we say we go towards a new direction, because the old direction was so rotten to the core. They were so corrupt. They were so inhuman that they take this country to a new direction away from the old. But here we go. We cut money from we fumble them, we people them. Okay, most likely for good reasons. But then that money go or supposed to go, now the consolidated fund back into government in Kitty. Government they make profit. Anytime when money come with extra, government defense from side for put on for develop the nation and its people. But guess what happened? That money is unaccounted for, and that money they amount to 7,434,359,850,000. 850,000. One is unbelievable. Unbelievable. And look at the final one, total irregularities. Put all the total of the irregularity there will happen. But I mean, God, do I give me this figure? I'll just read them out quickly. So it amount to 66 trillion, 298 billion, 388 million,